Have you ever had a cup of Joe? Or have you ever shopped at a Trader Joe's? Do you know who Joe Blow, Joe Schmo, Joe Mama, or Joe Sixpack are? Joe sounds like a pretty interesting guy. What about this average Joe? Who is he? According to Google, the average Joe is simply defined and described as an average person. When I was little, I used to tell my family that I could be Martin Luther King Jr. Why? Because this is someone that I thought could do something big and change the world, to make a difference. But, sadly, someone told me that I could never be Martin Luther King Jr. because I was not black, I was not an adult, and I didn't have a mustache. I was shocked. Then I thought, I can be the President of the United States one day. This person is important and wants to bring about difference. Again, someone told me, you cannot be the president because I was not born here in America. I was born in Russia. Here are two people that I thought at a young age that I thought could make a difference, and that both of these people were outside my grasp. Wow, I guess I must be an average Joe. Luckily, I had discovered that I was not average at all. It had all started with a sermon I heard one church morning. There was a special guest, the bishop. The bishop was saying that there are two life lessons everybody needs to learn. Everybody matters, and we are all in this together. That sermon had made me rethink my ideas about being an average Joe, but the final piece to the puzzle was still to come. So this past holiday season, I was invited to a Christmas party. Everybody was dressed in their finest attire. There's a professional DJ, lots of food, and tons of activities. My friends and I were all hanging out. We were walking down the stairs to head outside until this individual says, "Hey, what are you doing here?" Pause. This person was talking about my friend Ross. Ross and I are very close friends. He and I had both done fencing, he and I both do sailing, and another common thread is he and I were both adopted. Unlike I, though, he was born here in America. So somebody started asking him, and they had said, "Hey, what are you doing here?" I didn't understand it until this person said, "Hey, what are you, Mexican or something?" Boom. There it was. Because of his skin color, he had been cast out as different, and it did not fit the mold of this person's guest list. My friend Ross was cast out. I could feel his heartbreak, and I saw him smile, but I knew he was upset. I blamed myself and my friends for not standing up to him against the hurtful words that night. I blamed it on the lateness of the hour and the shock of the question. Later that night, I had told my parents about what had happened, and they had said that all my talk about change and how I had wanted to make a difference, and that this was my opportunity to be that change. That is when I realized that we all have the potential to be more than just average. That being an average Joe means that we have to take care of each other. A few nights later, I was daydreaming about how I could have done things better. And as I'm daydreaming, I am listening to the song Hall of Fame by The Script. You can be the greatest, you can be the best. You can be the King Kong banging on your chest. You can beat the world, you can beat the war. You can talk to God, go banging on his door. And in my fantasy world, I see myself at this party again. But as the same person starts to speak and asks the question, "How'd you get invited to this party?" I stand up and I say, "By invitation." And then I take Ross's arm and we run with the rest of my friends through the house and out the back door. We're all standing outside, laughing, and he smiles. The smile. That was my Martin Luther King Jr. moment. That was my president moment. That was a change that could have made me a hero. That was my average Joe moment. The probability of you winning the lottery is 1 in 175 million, and the probability of you becoming the president is 1 in 10 million. But the probability of all of us changing the world is 1 out of 1, 100%. But unfortunately, I decided not to take that chance. I may not be able to control who wins the lottery, but I can choose to buy a ticket and get in the game, just as I should have done for my friend Ross that night. So the next time you think of an average Joe and who he is, think of him as an individual doing extraordinary things like what I should have done for my friend Ross that night. If all of us can just step out of our way and do something extraordinary, then the ordinary becomes the extraordinary, and then the term average Joe really means extraordinary. Mahatma Gandhi is known for his famous quote, "Be the change that you want to see in the world." Action changes things. You and I, we can change things. We can make a difference, and that is pretty powerful. No longer should it be a put-down to be called an average Joe, but the new standard. Each day, we should wear our average Joe badges with honor and courage, because it would take all of us to build and make a change and difference in the world. So don't worry about being the next Martin Luther King Jr. And don't worry about being the next president, because the world just needs you to be an average Joe. Thank you.